Day, and welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is US Comics, HQ for all things comic book connected. We are John and Charlie Rivera in the same room and the co-founders of US Comics. Charlie, happy comic book day.
And happy comic book day to you and to everyone listening and watching today. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Mary Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please smash that like and or follow button and attack that comment section like someone reactivated your CPU and you defaulted to destroy asset mode.
Pew, 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 pew,
Damn
pew,
it.
pew.
You shot me right in the CPU.
Man, those fucking little pew-pews didn't do shit.
Sarge right out the gate saying, let's go, and I assume what he means by that is a big hug from my big brother.
No, that's not what he meant.
Thank you, Sarge,
That
for
is not what
insisting
he meant.
upon
And
the fleshy
shame on you if that is what you meant.
Well, I mean, there's some shame involved. John, today is a glorious, glorious new comic book day. Not only because of the fat stack of comic books I have waiting for me,
Inappropriate,
but my
man.
friend,
Right away.
we woke up to a better world because Mandalorian Season 3 has landed upon us, and it showed up in a salvaged Episode 1 ship.
Little Naboo.
The fact everything is better when Mandalorian is back on the screen. I know our boy is handling business on HBO. I need him back on Disney Plus.
Pedro.
I just needed him back because I famously fell in love with Star Wars via Mando. Now all of it I like.
It's about time, dude.
It took me a long time to really
Holy
love it. I
shit.
liked it. I'd hang out with it. But John, right out of the gate, how thirsty were you for more Grogu Mando action?
Well, yeah, you know what it is? This, honestly, because what's been going on with The Last of Us has been so outstanding that it snuck up on me.
Did it?
Like, it really did. All of a sudden, I started getting alerts like, oh, here we go, blah, blah, blah. Mandalorian is coming back. And it was like shocking. Like, it's so rare even just to get good news.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm so used to waiting and waiting and waiting for the shit that I'm looking forward to come out. I'm like, oh, here it goes. Matter of fact, then I started ringing the bell. The red coats are coming. The red coats are coming. I was like all over all
It's
the
okay
socials.
to like Star Wars again.
I'm like,
it's
guys,
fine.
it's all right. It's all right. Come out of hiding. Here it comes. It was exciting.
As much as I love The Last of Us, Last of Us is such a downer. Like, Last of Us by design is a show that's like, enjoy feeling things, which must be horrid for people like our mother, who like does not deep think.
You know who really loves that shit? George R.R. Martin. He's like, oh, what happened then? Oh shit,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Do you think he's just giggling?
You're
He's
just
just
breaking
like,
hearts
see,
all over town.
See,
Enjoy
that little girl died.
Yeah. But-
Love is a lie.
But yeah,
a zombie ate your baby.
I gotta say, man. So season 3 launched, and I'm like all into it. And our boy Pedro is handling his
Would
business.
you wake up at 3 a.m.? You like watched it during its like first seconds live
I
in
was up
Cali.
early, but as I'm watching, I'm like, I know she's immune, but Ellie looks fucking terrible in this episode. Like, what's going on? The zombies really got. Oh, that's Grogu. That's Grogu. I just got very confused.
Like, she looks very
I'm
sickly.
like, oh man,
is the
I
problem.
thought she would be just okay.
The show could not have opened better because
a
I
great
got a
start.
1-2 punch. And what's very, very important, we're trying to always listen to feedback. So this segment, we're talking about Mandalorian, but we are keeping it spoiler free. All of those are way too long. I don't know why you let me make them 8 seconds. I don't know why I thought 8 seconds was inappropriate, but we are spoiler free talking about Mando. However, I will say this.
Can I answer your question?
Yes.
Because anything that you do that lasts 8 seconds, you're like, that's fine. That's actually average. That's more than enough to get the job done.
You know, that shit was funnier when I was in a relationship. Because then, like, someone like, was waiting at home. Like, I had a warm bed. It's lonesome out here, man.
Like, you don't know what John said.
It's
And then
lonesome.
He implied.
What I
Anyways.
think is absolutely fucking crazy, though, was the show opens with a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Where, and I think I should be allowed to spoil things. Like, I thought it was a flashback. And the opening sequence is not a flashback. So I got like nervous because I'm like, are we spending a bunch of time without Pedro? And he makes such a hero entrance.
Yeah, boy.
However, this is the closest thing to a spoiler I get. We open episode 1 of season 3. We got Ham. We got the heavy armored Mandalorian.
Right off the top.
Can I give you a theory for the season?
Sure. Yeah,
I think we're gonna see Favreau in ham armor, no helmet. Maybe he'll be eating in his room, but I think we're gonna get to finally see.
Oh, you just want like a.
I just think there's gonna be like.
You want a facial?
I want a facial
from Favreau.
Head, neck, and chest if it's from Favreau.
Wow.
I genuinely love Mandalorian. We got our boy Christian coming to us
Christian,
hot and
what's
fresh.
up?
Right on the heels of Live from the Secret Stash. If you didn't check it out today, it is available on instant replay. So after this show's over, go on to Facebook, Jan's on Bob's Secret Stash. You can watch 37 episodes. They had
Learn
their
something. Go learn something.
They had their 37th episode, which in the Kevin Smith world, that's a sacred number. Even more sacred, speaking of facials. Speaking of Favreau-style facials. John, with Mandalorian, the thing I love about it is that I feel like they, for the first time in the story's progression, we are really in a place of like wonder again. So the first 2 seasons were very, very like a very clear quest. It starts off, we're like, you got to get this little toddler from point A to point B.
Formulatic.
They fall in love, and I think we're gonna get another season of like almost video game style. You do these 3 tasks to get to the next. But I think where we're heading,
Mando's got to grind basically to achieve the Sword of Destiny. Oh no, he's got that already. He's got to grind to get a little circuit breaker. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're right.
What about Mandalorian in general? What about the Mandalorian in general gets you so hot and excited? Because you're an OG. You saw Star Wars and you were like, I'll take the bed sheets. Let's get some toys. Yeah. Han Solo's my boy. What about Mandalorian works so well for you?
That's Dynamite. Ellis always a fireman with the comments. This season is DLC. Just keeping it well within the realm of the video game convo. Dynamite Ellis, as always. What was the question?
Why do you like Mandalorian so much?
Oh, you mean just like as a series?
Just in general, why is it working for you? Why is it up to season 3? And at least me, I'm as excited as ever.
Yeah.
There's no staleness for me and Mandalorian. And we sat through Book of Boba Fett, which didn't totally work for me. The best episodes of Book of Boba Fett work as a perfect in-between between season 2 and 3 of Mandalorian.
I have never been more disappointed to be right about some shit in ever. Because right here on these airwaves, I came to you all and I said, oh yeah, you know Boba Fett? He's whack. He stinks on ice. And he stinks in sand, too, when the fucking Sarlacc is just knocking him back like Thanksgiving dinner. So, the fact that they hype me up just a tiny bit with some boba in Mandalorian, that's probably the worst thing that I can say about the show.
Yeah.
In general, I'm like, you got me hyped up again about boba.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe these clone trooper looking motherfuckers.
You made me doubt myself. I was the girl in the relationship saying, I know he's a bad boy, but I can change him. Like, that's where, Joker's Dream joining us as well. Oh, we got Twitch repping. We got Facebook repping. Unbelievable. Joker Stream, what is up? But also as well as the fact that fucking Filoni and Favreau is the best thing about this show. Because we use the analogy a lot. They have dumped out Lucas's toy box, and they have come up with a better game than the creator, sorry Ellis, than the creator of this entire universe has literally ever fucking played. And granted, I fully acknowledge this would not be possible without that which came before it. But it's basically like 2 okay-looking parents producing a very hot supermodel kid. That's where we're at, because this is a higher level of Star Wars storytelling.
So for me, what I think helps it a lot is, what do you think the crowning achievement, and this goes out to you lovely people as well, what is the crowning achievement in Lucas's specific Star Wars crown? what is the best of Star Wars in the Lucas era?
Undeniably, Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back.
That he
it
did
is,
not direct.
It is commonly known, did not direct, and there's a lot of rumor and innuendo that his wife had a heavy hand in that script. So I think Star Wars is one of those many, many properties that's better when you have a team. Much like this show, available on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook every single Wednesday, and podcast every single Wednesday, wherever you can hear podcasts.
It's true.
I think the fact that it's Filoni and Favreau, because what Filoni's been able to do is he's been able to elevate and take to new heights the stories he was telling in kids programming. He then was able to take off those restraints. And obviously Favreau came in
to
with
a degree.
It's still Star Wars, which is still always going to some degree
honestly,
be for families.
Like in the watcher, again, this is spoiler free for those who didn't wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch this. There are still in that Star Wars kind of DNA, still those like little those little cutesy moments. Like I get it. I realize there are non-40-year-olds watching this also as well.
Fuck out of here, be older.
So so like I even those didn't like throw me off of the enjoyment factor.
The best compliment I can give something in entertainment is when I go to hit play, I load up my Disney, I go to Mandalorian, I click enter, it shows me my options of what to watch, and I see that episode 1 is only 42 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I literally was upset. I was like, only 42 minutes. I want everything to be 4 hours.
I literally had my Princess Leia moment this morning because I too popped it right up and I was like, 42 minutes? Little short for a Mandalorian episode.
Be like why is this shit Grogu sized?
No bra wearing in space. I had a British accent for some reason at the very beginning of it.
It works for me. The crowning, the thing about Mandalorian, the rev up of season 1, 2, him being the only good episodes in Book of Boba Fett, where they're going, the one negative to Mandalorian right now for me is I'm starting to think I know where they're going, and if they don't go there, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
But
I'm pulling a Marvel fan.
How common of a mistake is that, though?
For me, I'm pretty good at avoiding it.
Game of Thrones.
My hopes are,
everything Marvel, everything Star Wars. Like, that is just one of those mistakes where it's like habitual. Don't do it. Dude. Don't do it. Because what's going to end up happening is, even if it ends up being a fire fucking direction that they're taking it, if it's not your wannabe directorial debut, you're like, man, no, they should have the Ewoks swing out of the trees and save the day.
What do you mean Grogu's not laying pipe daily, nightly, never surprising? Ellis over on Twitch bringing up what I think is actually a good strategy, but not one I could actually wait. Ellis is going to wait a few weeks.
Ellis, you are a strong man.
You're begging. I feel like you're begging for people to spoil it. And you're so deeply, tough, specifically Ellis, not only is he an amazing artist, he also like makes amazing costumes. He's in a saber guild. I feel like all your people are just going to be like, do you see Grogu got laid and grew a goatee? Christian, if they come a knockin', this becomes a 3-man writing team.
When this writing room is a rockin'.
To come and knock.
You're welcome to come and knock.
Something, yeah, we want more.
Joker, I gotta say, man, I did not happen to catch many headlines. Probably again because I was up absurdly early to catch it myself, and then unfortunately had to work all damn day.
Like a chump.
I don't know. Are people not saying good things, or are people doing the standard like, maybe this is the end of Mandalorian, blah 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 blah.
I would be astonished if people are saying it's
here's the thing. If I may,
yeah, please.
The certain things, again, spoiler free as can be. They addressed the Cara Dune situation. What else? I mean, because basically that's truly the only thing that I can imagine would be like problematic, or that people could have an opinion about like one way or the other, because in essence all it really did for me was set up the upcoming season.
It just revved up the engine.
It reminded you all the dope things that have been done prior.
He's saying they gave it a good, like an 8 out of 10. Which I think
cool. Then I would concur with that opinion.
I'm almost of the and I almost said something that's not entirely true. I always want them to kind of drop. I think the business model that Amazon adopted, where they give you like 3 up front if you do want to binge. I think what's nice about that
Baby
model,
binge.
baby binge,
Just a taste, like
but it is like it is, but it's very much like they're giving you free drugs because then you're already knowing where they're going. This was very much a setup. I think Joker Stream, you're talking about the best strategy in the world for a very long time. I'll give you full credit, John. You have said reviews are useless if you do not know the context. Meaning, if you don't know what a reviewer you're reading the opinion of, if you don't know what they think about stuff, if I'm reading a Mandalorian review and that reviewer, he, she, or they, don't like the movie The Crow, our sensibilities are so different. I never need to read what they say. It just comes down to
if you just think about it in terms of your friends, and you have a friend who's in your little cut, and they historically love whack ass movies, and they're like, oh, you have to see this. Immediately, you're just gonna come back with, no, I don't, because your taste is trash. On the other hand, if you have someone whose sensibilities line up with yours and they recommend something to you to watch that maybe you would have waited in order to catch, then great, then roll with that. But at this point in the game, reviews were intended to help people decide whether they should watch something, whether they should invest their time and or money into something. And at this point, season 3, we're all in.
Yeah.
A comic book movie can get the worst fucking reviews of all time. If I'm even remotely interested in that character, I'm gonna watch it. Sometimes sit down and be like, oh man, this is really gonna suck. But I just sit there and I take it. I take one for the team.
Yeah, like a proper adult. Sometimes
Damn
you're
straight.
so committed to something.
Man up!
You just do it forever. Christian over on Facebook dropping a hell of a question.
Soliloquy.
He says, with this last season, how many surprises do you want? Christian would prefer to see a Mando season that doesn't necessarily lead towards an Omega level surprise. Sure. Just give some great storytelling rather in the world of Star Wars. Christian, I got to tell you right out the gate before I kick it to you, John.
Do it.
I suspect from what I've seen, I do think this is very much going to be a self-contained, full story this season. I think the surprises or the things that they're setting up are very much for the future. I think the central goal of this season will be enough. I think we're going to further develop that relationship between Mando and Grogu. And I personally suspect that there's going to be some big, for the Mandalorian people, I think we're finally going to really justify this title in a different way. Yeah. The Mandalorian. I think this is a quest to crown the one who can kind of be the person who deserves the Darksaber will end up with the Darksaber, I suspect. So you think
this is like Darksaber, the series?
I think this is very much like, what are we doing with this fucking laser sword?
So my answer's, and this is very unique for this particular show, my answer is a little bit different than Charlie's. First of all, you have TV storytelling, which obviously in the long form needs to start. I imagine that when they sit down to start their kind of like seasonal script writing, for that season ahead, they have to start with, okay, how is this season going to end? Like, that's their starting point. They already know how it's going to begin because they fucking know how season 2 ended. Yeah. So they have to sit and say, this is how we're going to wrap this particular season up. And I think Jon Favreau like has the next season after this already kind of like mapped out. So I think that's...
Which is truly the best. When he knows what not only the next step is, the step after.
In a perfect world, if you know, like, okay...
You know what the ending is. The ending.
You know that it's not going to drop off because Disney, like, is just fucking... You know, they love him to death.
How do they do it?
Right.
Clip that.
But also, as well as, ultimately, when you're having this type of a storytelling, it's a little unique in that we know in the Star Wars world what's going to happen. Right? And I think somebody can fact check me for this. I think the proper term is when you begin a story in the middle, right? When you begin a story in the middle, it's called, I believe it's called in media res. That's the Latin for it. So you're starting a story.
It is too late in the day for you to be listening to Latin.
So you're beginning a story in the middle, and in essence, this is like a chapter of that story that has gone untold. But we know what lies ahead for the rebellion. We knows what happens for anybody named Skywalker, whether they're biological or adopted. Like we know what's gonna happen to Han. We know all the stuff in advance. So storytelling wise, you've painted yourself into a unique corner of like, I have to get this particular story here. I have to get these characters there because they end up in certain places by the time your job with those characters is done. So it is relatively unique. I think ultimately they have no choice but to have a bunch of shit happen, which might be the reason why that formula of this week's adventure, this week's DLC, this week's achievement needs to be whatever it ends up being. So it's unique, but I'm for it, man. I'm all the way in.
I love all that. For me, one thing that's very, very telling about this is truly those episodes from Book of Boba Fett were important. The Book of Boba Fett. No, I mean specifically the Mandalorian episodes. The Mandalorian episodes are must watch for this.
They could have just had those 2 episodes standalone.
But it should have almost been like a special because if you haven't watched the Book of Boba Fett, first and first mostly, good job. How did you know and we didn't? Specifically watch those 2 Mandalorian episodes. They are very important. This episode does very quickly address the important elements. But there's a bunch of Luke shit that very much came into play. Now it was not Ellis's dream. Ellis. You go ahead, let the people know what Ellis said.
Ellis over from Twitch just dropped in. This season needs Uncanny Valley CGI Luke and Uncanny Valley CGI Leia finally having a talk about that kiss. Ooh, man, space Thanksgiving dinners must be awkward as fuck when you have made out. With your brother and or sister.
I feel like when Leia died, Luke was like, oh, thank God. That's the real reason I exiled myself. This was humiliating. Han brings it up every week.
Yeah.
You have a collect call from Han Solo. Balls. Now, John, I thought it's absolutely before the sequels. Christian on Facebook is saying that I'm saying specifically Christian said canonically, does it take place in the legacy line before Lucas, this is right on the heels of Jedi. Yeah. So I think that is very established. Unless I'm misunderstanding you, Christian. No. Which is very possible.
And I think like where the conversation was, well, how much further past the what do they refer to, the Endor, the Battle of Endor?
The Battle of Endor
on the timelines, like our DC.
I was absolutely shocked to learn that Grogu was with Luke for years. Favreau, and again, the way it sounded to me, again, he wasn't very specific, but saying a few years, that means 3. A few is 3. It wasn't a couple of years, so it was at least 3 years.
I'm interested to see that.
Makes so much more sense, though.
It felt like months.
It felt like I thought it like a weekend. He spent a weekend with Luke, and Luke was like, "I'm going over to school." He's like, "I feel like you're gonna try to murder me, bitch."
Weekend with the kids, son of a. I guess I go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah,
gotta go to the Huts.
You know what? Joker stream as always, bringing up some wild but accurate thoughts. How eat a dick? I lost the hand, Leia. You dealt with an awkward kiss, man. It's not my fault. I didn't know either.
She's gonna meet to Luke so fast, unbelievable.
Our boy Christian was talking about the legacy line that Disney scrapped. Oh, could you imagine if this is how they're rebooting the sequel series? Christian, I just became that much more of a fan.
I already watched this show with no pants on, Christian. You are rapidly getting to the point where I'm going to watch it with no drawers.
John,
and I have no problem with no drawers.
John,
Charlie can attest.
He owns 2 pair. He does not wear underpants very often.
One for special events and one in emergencies.
And one to convince people that you normally wear. That's the secret pair.
In any case, you know what I was really super excited to see?
Tell me now.
Out of everything that's going on, it wasn't Salacious Crumbs people running free in the trees. It wasn't half of the improvements that, in essence, we have seen kind of take place. Coming from season to season. Bro, High Magistrate Apollo Creed is clearly the best politician that the Star Wars universe has ever seen. My man he got the full Apollo drip going on in space. He's handling his business.
That's legitimately just
this is the type of politician. This is the type of politician that if he calls out another entity, another country, another planet,
Space
whatever,
Russia?
he's like, we're gonna go fight, and he's like front of the line. That is some woo. Man, I was all
There's
about it.
also some,
he had a particularly good episode.
I know sometimes people want their Star Wars to be very, very Star Wars.
Yeah.
There is proper Star Wars silliness in this episode.
Yeah.
And it's fucking awesome.
And again, even like
it's awesome.
I was mentioning it before, even like the little cutesy kind of like intended for children, which I realize it is. Even those moments, which normally make me kind of do an eye roll, I had zero problem with. I really didn't. They did a beautiful job.
A politician is the official coin phrase. It will be available on t-shirts this Sunday on t-shirtshop.net.gov.
Christian, if we generated any profits ever in this endeavor, you would be entitled to some. That is.
But instead, now Christian, you owe us $5.
Yeah, no, that's gonna.
We have to pay the bills somehow.
The bills in the mail.
My last thought about this episode, before I kick it to you for your last thought, very simply is, I cannot believe that 3 seasons in, I'm still so surprised by the gritty feel with so many people struggling in the volume, which Ant-Man got a lot of criticism, like for some of the mixing of the worlds, like shooting on that crazy volume where it's like a curved wall that they're projecting this stuff. It looks so good and so legitimately tactile. Yeah. I'm blown away that it's every season feels like it's getting better. After, again, Book of Boba Fett felt like half a step back, and this rocketed right back up, which is just great. Ellis is dubbing a politician the communist. We have a bar to beat now. But the former champ, respecting the new champ, I feel like Ellis is handing his podcast,
like Apollo Creed. He's like, listen, man, that was a good fight, but you owe me one. Ding.
Any final thoughts?
Honestly, of everything that was accomplished, and the one thing that I was really looking forward to, because these are conversations that I have had in my personal life, and I said, look, Favreau, Filoni, get me off the hook. I don't want to talk about this anymore. But the fact that Cara Dune is now, in essence, Richie Cunningham's older brother, who infamously
sent her upstairs.
They got sent upstairs. She had her basketball. She went upstairs, and then you just never saw her again. They don't talk about it anymore. It's in effect like it never happened. And I said, you know what, boys, thank you. Just thank you personally, because I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to enjoy it.
I do like that it's like, and she went back to her home planet.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
But she went like this.
Yeah, just rage tweeting the whole time. John, the fact of the matter is very, very simple. If you are not at least a little bit excited about Mandalorian and Grogu being back, then you, my friend, are a liar, like that toy peddling George Lucas, because we all know one fact among all others, John, and that is Han shot first. Clinky.
Salud.
I feel like that was not so. Oh, why did it fill to the brim? Oh God! Help me, Lord! Show John's down. John's out of frame and down. Oh, Jesus. Woo! That was a wacky
Holy
burp.
shit.
You didn't have to do the whole thing. You could have taken a half shot like a chump.
Oh my God. I am drenched in whiskey. Charlie's room smells like pre-St. Patrick's Day. Well done, sir.
This is like your second new fresh shirt needed for the show.
I got more costume changes than Cher up in this bitch.
My eyes are literally watering.
Woo!
Again, a big shout out. This is currently my favorite booze. It is Boondock Saints bourbon whiskey. This was a limited run. They're doing another limited run. They're not a sponsor, but if you guys know them, tell them more, please. Like for free, ideally.
Charlie would appreciate it. Also, the fact that I spilled half of the bottle just down my pant leg, so that would be good.
That's fair. That's for the next day. Don't clean those jeans, bro. That'll be like,
yeah. So, Charlie, I gotta say this, and I think it's appropriate that we have the Sarge is here in chat. We've got Joker stream in chat here. I'm sure we have Christian does a little streaming here and there. Friend of the show, Sarah, is a streamer as well. We have video game and IRL streamers here with us, so maybe they can chime in.
Ooh.
Because this week something kind of came to my attention that normally probably wouldn't. Uh, I I play video games. I don't know if I will go so far as to call myself a gamer.
Yeah, you're
You know,
too
like,
old to be a gamer.
how
Like,
dare you? How dare you?
I'm just saying,
That
Tetris and
drink
stuff.
was not tall enough for you to get away with that shit, bro.
Fair enough. Looked like you were gonna slap me.
Yeah,
That was.
I'm thinking
that
about
made me
it.
uncomfortable.
It
Okay.
probably still will
I
happen.
kind of need the divide to feel safe.
Yeah, that's right, you do. But that all being said, something came to my attention this week, which people might be. Mommy spilled whiskey again, and she's going to know that's the fucked up thing about it. And I don't know if you guys, if this is on your radar either, but there is a video game out there that is causing a fair amount of controversy.
Real kerfuffle.
Not just because of the game itself, but amongst the gaming community, and that game is Atomic Heart. So Atomic Heart, I remember seeing shit about this game. It was kind of like a real slow burn. They didn't really tell you very much about it. They didn't really tell you much about certainly where it was from in terms of the development team, which ended up being very, very important to this story. They just kind of said like, oh, here's this game. Doesn't it look good? And it really fucking does, because the truth of the matter is, this is Atomic Heart, if you're unfamiliar, is in essence kind of like like Russian BioShock is probably the best way to describe it. And then once reviews of the game, you have no idea what you're saying right now.
Nope.
Reviews of the game started rolling out. They really kind of doubled down and tripled down on that. They're like, this is BioShock. This game owes a ton to BioShock, both in plot, both in pacing, both in can it be more than two when you say both?
Yeah.
Both also, as well as in terms of
You know rules when you're a little drunk.
Yeah, sure. Just like a 5-minute drunk.
Yeah.
But the gameplay, like, it is basically, again, Russian cold vodka version of BioShock. Fine, which is just fine. I have come to enjoy a lot of, in essence, just ingloriously reskinned games, because
Yeah.
if you like the mechanics or something, like Rockstar is famous for it. Like, oh shit, I love Red Dead. That means I can jump into GTA anything.
Yeah.
And fucking
This
ball.
horse is fast as
I
fuck.
can ball, and Charlie doesn't touch brakes on a car or a horse. So
point.
his gameplay is always identical.
I like when you fly off the horse into the sky. That's my favorite.
But that all being said, again, the real issue has been, yeah, Joker, it does look like a Fallout style game.
We sold the copy to Christian.
Absolutely. Christian, we're gonna need a little bit of that proceeds too. But yeah, the fucking real issue for this has been, ironically for me at least, in the aspect of the game which I almost never ever pay attention to. So you get a game, you load it up into your system, or you download it, or whatever the case might be, and then you just want to play it. You got it, you paid for it.
Yeah.
I want to play it now.
You don't bust out the credits? You don't want to see who like the third AD was?
Now I am gonna hit you. Not because of the other stuff. So you just fast forward and you're like, yes. In essence, you're promising your brother's liver to whoever needs it, just so you can get it and jump in and play the game.
I've ruined them.
However, just now you ruined it with that fucking shots you poured. But this particular game, at the very bottom of their user agreement, which is required for you to agree to before you can play the game, is in essence said, hey, thank you for buying this. You're the best comrade. Because we need you to also, as well as, agree that any information that we collect from you in the playing of this game, we're entitled to do with it as we please. We can share it with third-party people, or, as it turns out, governments and foreign bodies, and there ain't shit you can do about it. So, again...
Is that normal?
Absolutely not.
I've never considered reading. I scroll through right to the accept.
So iPhone, you can't download a flashlight app without them saying, hey, is it cool if we track your movements and share your information? And I say, no, Apple, it's not. They say, okay, cool.
But then they let
now
you
we
still
know.
use
But
the app?
here's your flashlight.
Yeah.
This fucking game is like, no, oh no, that's not cool. Sorry about that. And that's like the options are off the
shit.
table. But that's not really the biggest point. The biggest issue is all those people, and I'm gonna have to throw out a number like 97.7% of people don't read any of that shit.
I wouldn't even consider
When
reading
they're
it.
downloading it, they just XXS, yes, 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 not a problem. So yeah, Joker's right. They actually ask.
I feel like
this group, and I think I should have done a little bit of a better homework, but I didn't because I have a life. But they did ask, and you had to effectively agree to it if you wanted to play this game. Fine, fine. Like not the best practices professionally, but whatever, it is what it is. They're not sharing that information though with Apple. They're not sharing that information with Microsoft. They're not sharing it with fucking Zuckerberg over at Facebook. They're sharing it with the Russian government.
Oh.
They're sharing it with.
Does it say that? Like, are they the most honest company ever? Where it's like, we're gonna send, we're gonna specifically send it to Mother Russia.
In the agreement, in essence, what they're doing is they're saying like, we may do this, knowing full well that that's their entire plan. Now, that kind of like tactic did raise some eyebrows, to the point where people are like, hey, where exactly is this information being shared? And only upon that kind of like Sally Jesse Raphael level of investigation, where they're like, yo, this is where they're sending that information.
Are you really?
Like the fucking Ministry of Defense, like Harry Potter and all kind. Like they in essence just took all the information. And they sent it to Russia.
This sounds like a front. This sounds like a first act.
It sounds
like Red Dawn.
It
almost.
Sounds like the plot of a video game that you would actually play. But
it's like I accidentally sent my Visa number to Russia.
This is real fucking life. So that was what was going on. Kind of like on the surface, right? Now the issue became, and this is where I need my streamers to chime in. This information, as we all know, in 2023, there are no fucking secrets. If Charlie farts in 2 minutes from now, all you motherfuckers are gonna know about it, and I fully expect you to jump on the socials and spread that information because I'm gonna be sitting here suffering. Now, that all being said, that secret was not kept. Almost instantaneously upon release of the game, first there were game reviews. Hey, this is what this game is. It's in essence a reskin. It looks great. But basically, again, like we had mentioned before, this is the plot. This is what you're going to be doing. This is what gameplay looks like. Yeah, sure. But ...
Russia.
Oh, but also as well as they're sending all of your fucking information to Russia to do with it as they will. Fine. Whatever. That is what it is. Now, knowing that...
That is so fucking creepy.
An individual gamer, or part-time gamer, or whatever the case might be, might say, thanks for the heads up. Boop! Let me play some more Madden. Let me jump back on horseback. Let me salvage...
How you can refund it. I want my refund.
It's not even that. It's not... It's not even that.
Told them myself.
What ended up happening is... Tons of gamers. If you go on Twitch, if you go on Facebook Gaming, if you go on Kick.com, this new dope streaming service that's dropping out. Really, any of the streaming services. There's even more than that. People here in the States, they're still fucking playing it. Like, no problem. Nobody saw anything here, but there are tons of voices who are giving those particular streamers absolute shit about doing so. What are you doing? Why are you playing this game? First and first, mostly, it's not even this like out of this world unique fucking game. And the truth of the matter is, if I'm being totally honest, if the game was that level where I'm like, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
This is the most amazing gaming experience I've ever had. The most fun that you can have with your clothes on type of situation, though I do tend to game naked sometimes. I might say, you know what? Enjoy it, Russia. You can't really get nothing from me. However, there are other streamers out there who they're just giving these particular gamers absolute shit. And because we live where we live in America, we don't like being told what to do.
Even when it's for our own good. Even if it's like, you should drink a couple glasses of water.
No, I'm not going to take my vitamins. Fuck you, I'm going to do what I want. Yeah, I know my arm fell off. So what? Mind your business. So there is like this miniature streaming Civil War. Joker.
Another
You know
one.
you're going to play it, Joker. You know you're going to play it.
Joker's playing that shit right now in
he's
preparation for his next stream.
Motherfucker.
But
if he dies, he dies.
But I think Joker.
But yeah, run with it. Run.
And
with
Joker,
it.
correct me.
That's a setup. So please
correct me if I'm wrong,
your
though.
input.
Joker and Ellis brought up two good points. Joker made it seem like likely this information, that legalese was so vague in the past that they were like, we reserve the right to do whatever the fuck we want. Bye. And I feel like that's what a lot of those messages feel like. And Ellis's point was on TikTok. That is the user agreement. And TikTok, without question, is the number one app right now. Maybe not in users, but as far as active users and the youths.
If you're a tween, please know for the rest of your God willing long lives, China knows every fucking thing about you. I don't TikTok. I am not a TikToker, not because I'm an old man, but because of the fact that I don't necessarily want. I mean, I am an old man, but that's not the reason why. I don't necessarily trust China to have all of my fucking stuff. I just don't. And again, a lot of it has to do, and this was my larger point, was a lot of it has to do with the quid pro quo of it all. Okay, you're going to take all of my data, personal data.
Yeah.
What are you giving me in
Ellis,
return?
sorry.
This is a real Faustian fucking deal.
Christian said the same thing over on Facebook. He said, if you're going to butt fuck me for my information, lube it up and give me the next GTA.
Yeah.
It needs to be elevated to the point.
Russia, hey China, at least have the courtesy. If you're gonna butt fuck me like this, give me the courtesy of a reach around.
Yeah.
Help a brother out here. Let's go.
It can't be Avengers. It can't be some shit that people are still somehow playing, but the user base is dropped. I don't know.
Honestly, the entire thing hit me like a ton of bricks because I just did not see.
Can I ask you a real question though? And I know you want to use this as a bit of a segue.
Fluffy fucking.
Can I ask you a fluffy bullshit question?
Do you believe in God?
Yes, yeah. We've had that conversation recently. I had a real crisis of faith. If they were congratulations, we have dropped for you, John, for you specifically.
Do it, Joker, do it! And make sure Uncle Sam knows I send it his way. Dadgummit.
If they said, John, Red Dead Redemption 3. Red Dead Redemption 3 is waiting for you.
Oh, forget about it,
the
bro.
user agreement is you have to send them a thumb.
I'm going to have my Drago hat on. I'm already 50% into the Drago culture, guys. Just free information for you. Red Dead Redemption 3, I would be in the China and Russian National Guards. I'm like, let's go. Saddle up.
I was taken in Joker stream last night. I was finally able to catch one.
Yes, Joker stream.
If you
over on Twitch, check out Joker stream. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, it's just such a good time. It's a real party atmosphere, which I thoroughly enjoy. With that being said, I was thinking, he asked me, he's like, do you ever game? The next game I know I'm gonna buy is AAW Fight Forever. That warning could be you're gonna go a little blind. I'm like, all right.
So I was like, I got 2 eyes, baby.
I survived Virtual Boy. I will fucking survive this.
How thick do they make glasses nowadays?
Yeah, it's pretty
fine.
thick.
I'm fine.
Pretty thick. It's funny that this is news because I just kind of assumed that they were stealing our information. Christian said something I've been thinking about for a while. I don't actually have very good internet here. On Long Island, the internet's not great.
Long Island's don't even bother.
They're go fuck yourself.
We have pizzerias and bagels. Other than that, you're not gonna get shit from us, man.
It's to the point where a VPN really does slow down my shit. And I know normally VPN services don't do much damage as far as speed. Here it does affect me, but a VPN has been something I've been very interested in. Not just because in all the commercials, they're like, you can watch Netflix from Europe and they have the fucking Crow 3. You're like, I don't need the fucking Crow 3. I own 2 copies. This doesn't really surprise me that governments are... I assume China had all the shit. Yeah, no, of course it bothers me. Right. But it bothers me the way that gas costs $85. It's one of those clubberins that I just know I'm going to have to take. If this story came across my desk, I would not think that you would ever fucking want to talk about. I feel like before this just now...
I was shocked. I clutched my pearls.
If I brought you this... Today's episode is brought to you by Ellis VPN. Yes. Send Ellis $20 and he'll let you use his internet for the afternoon. No, for me, I would think that this is something you'd be like, of course they're fucking us. That's what they do. Like, that would be
That's fair.
my... And again, I'm not proud of that, because it does bother me. But it bothers me in the way that everything a little bit bothers me.
All right, well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Since you're already hot and bothered, so this was ultimately, and a little bit of research, granted on my part, this was neither the first, nor in this day and age will it be the last controversial video game story that's going to come across the desk of US Comics. So I'm gonna throw a little something out your way, Charlie.
Yes, please.
Here are some other games.
Ooh.
For one reason or another, and let's see how Charlie Jeopardy's this shit. That were considered controversial. So I'm just gonna throw some titles out there. Audience, don't help Charlie. Rather, just mock his almost guaranteed incorrect answers. So
The fuck?
I don't know, Charlie. 1983's video game offering. Custer's Revenge. Custer's Revenge. Why in the world would that video game ever be considered controversial?
Put him up. Custer makes whoopee with an Indian woman.
Charlie, that is very well done. You perverted sack of shit. That's right.
Like
Custer's
Game of the Year,
Revenge.
1983.
Available on. Did you do homework? 1982's offering on Atari 2600. The game depicts a crudely rendered General Custer dodging arrows to reach a naked
And hanging dong.
and I mean he was part Irish. So
ABACABD.
good for him.
He
Good
got an
for
extra
him.
couple inches.
Reaching a crudely drawn naked Native American woman. So
Did
Charlie,
I say Indian? I
well
apologize
done.
for.
I know
for-
you son of a
I
bitch.
was using the language from that horseshit rape game.
Charlie has been this is the reason why Charlie has been canceled. It's because of Custer. Yet another list of
Just
atrocities
because
to
I
add
have
to
a
Custer's.
just 'cause I have a tattoo of his erect 8-bit donger.
just atrocious. So I don't know, Charlie. Let's make it a little bit
How many
more.
points did I just get? 1,000?
1.7 points for Charlie. Let's make it a little bit more recent. The original Mortal Kombat entry. Charlie, why was that game considered controversial?
What about depicting the crazy over-the-top violence? Depicting like blood, realistic blood, because they used people.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you full points for that.
Yeah!
Charlie. Well done. Mainly because you spent most of your time in the public library looking up cheat codes for Mortal Kombat just so that you could hang with yours truly 2004's version, Leisure Suit Larry, specifically the Magna Cum Laude edition. Charlie, entire countries refused to allow this game to make its way under the Christmas tree that year. Charlie, why was that?
But isn't the whole plot of that game to try to smash? Aren't you like misleading broads? You're like Jim Norton maintaining your heterosexuality.
I would put out there that fucking what's his face? What's the big chin son of a bitch neighbor from Family Guy?
The giggity.
Yeah. There were plenty of
Someone
children.
help me in the chat.
Children were giggitying all year that year along the holidays. Now,
Why can I think of Cleveland's name, but not the
Quagmire.
Quagmire.
In 2008,
Chat, you fail. Oh, Ellis
guys,
now.
way to go, Ellis. Way to go. In 2008, here we are in 23. 2008 seems like yesterday to me. Frankly, 1994 seems like yesterday to me. But in
I was
2008, we received a game, thankfully only for the PC, called Muslim Massacre. And this is where the laughter stops. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie, why was this a game considered
Are you a
controversial?
terrorist going on a shooting spree?
Boy, oh boy. Oh fuck, I lost it already. I mean,
I feel like
one would argue
if you don't have a
just the
VPN on
name,
that iPad, we're in trouble.
just the fucking name of this piece of shit fucking game, Muslim Massacre, should be enough to get it listed on the John didn't do your homework fucking list. But yeah, so let's go ahead and
Just give me
VPN.
points.
Charlie's gonna get all the points for that because
Yay!
fuck that game.
Does
Muslim
that sound about right?
Massacre. I mean, look.
I don't think you're. I feel like you know what's fucked up in '94. I bet if there was a game about killing Muslims, it wouldn't get banned because like weird.
Charlie, it was it billed itself as a game of modern religious genocide. And they're like, you know what? It's free. Go ahead and take it for free.
Shut the fuck up.
So you take control of an American hero and kind of
I was
do.
So you're an American killing Muslims.
Just fucking.
So you're like George W. just doing work.
You're trash people. What is wrong with you? Can you imagine if you're a game developer? You've gone ahead and done all your due diligence.
Hilarious.
Like, oh, look at this beautiful content that I'm putting out. What's the game? Oh, Muslim Massacre. It's really great. Should be available in Toys R Us. Fucking never.
You know what's fucked up is back then, I bet the general consensus from news media would be like, fuck these people. Nowadays, there would be half the people being like, what a great idea.
I guess
the world is so PC.
It depends on the paper. I will say this. There's a certain game in which a very, very close friend of the show, Mr. Leary, the mustache, if you must know, who actually appeared in said game, Silent Hill. Actually, specifically the 6th installment of the Silent Hill franchise, Homecoming. Why indeed was this game considered controversial at the time?
Does it depict...
Was it because it had the baddest motherfucking mustache ever known to man? Lear, we miss you, brother. Actually, Lear reached out to me the day. I gotta get back to him. Leary sent me one of the best comic books, one of those like indie type fucking comic books that I never, ever, ever would have come across on my own. And it literally had like a visual depiction of fucking homeboy from The Sopranos. He was also the guy that got Stabby McGee from the very beginning and the middle of Goodfellas. Frank something or other.
Frank Scaraducci.
I'll show it to you guys next episode. It's a dynamite comic. It really is.
You said it was Silent Hill 6. I'm gonna go with depict suicide.
It was actually their depiction of torture that really, really kind of got excuse me, got every fucking body all hot and bothered. And again, rightfully so. We mentioned Grand Theft Auto earlier.
Yeah.
And we know at this point Grand Theft Auto says what?
Hot coffee.
172 entries at this point. So we're not even going to bother with that.
It was hot coffee though, points.
Another Rockstar release, which dropped in 2006, Bully. In which case you were playing like a younger, bald-headed gentleman who
is getting bullied.
Private
That's like
school. Well, you tell me, Charlie. Why was that game considered controversial at the time?
I'm just gonna go with like it depicts kids beating the shit out of other kids, but again, Bully's about a hero kid who's being bullied, who beats the shit out of bullies.
So while
all my answers are 2 paragraphs,
I
like
know.
cheating.
It's like, well, and you also add the question to the beginning, like as if there was a word requirement.
What? Yeah, it's a.
While it's true that you can pick fights and wield weaponry, Jimmy, who is the central character of this game, Bully rather, he spends most of his time defending the bullied rather than being a bully himself, which I would argue, like, well, that's fucking, kids got to learn sometimes.
I live by...
So I don't support that.
I live by Ellis's motto, which is some kids deserve to be bullied, like the kids on TikTok. That is Ellis.
Oh,
that
Ellis.
Is a quote.
Ellis, we are going to go ahead and we're going to knock off the therapy session fees for this week. That's our thank you from USComics to you, because I bendito. What happened?
Christian,
tell me what happened.
Christian on Facebook. Bully was wish fulfillment. Jocks hated it. That's what they get. Joker streamed the Dexter of the playground. Well done. There's some serious competition this week for
you guys are,
comments of the day.
I feel like there's gonna be some fucking bullying going on because you guys are vying for the title. So
I gotta tell you, I did really well. I'm pretty proud of myself.
Compared to your normal Jeopardy output, I will say this, as opposed to the way Charlie plays Jeopardy usually, he legitimately tried to answer the question as opposed to sitting back and saying, what's the funniest? How can I crack these motherfuckers up? And it never works.
The worst is you hate it.
It never works.
You love Jeopardy and it's so sacred.
Charlie's whack-ass fake answers are so loud that I can't fucking hear the goddamn real question.
Legitimate. You can be honest with me because it's been a couple weeks. That was legitimately the last time you were mad at me. Was I was fucking around and finding out when you were trying to play Jeopardy. That was the first time in a long time you got up and bounced for a minute. You're like, yo, I need a second. I need a second.
I need to take a personal day real quick.
That was
this motherfucker began on my last nerve.
I made one of those. I made this face. Oh.
What
I fucked
is?
around. I found out.
What is absolutely fucking correct, Charlie, for 1,000. But yeah, guys. So in any case, that all being said, that's my time. Final thought. Look, that's some fucked up shit. And I happen to know a particularly good-looking, predominantly Russian broad that I'm gonna be talking to about this. I'm like, hey, yeah, I know about your whole family history and shit. But like, why didn't fucking this game? Why didn't Atomic Heart ever come up? Sitting down over coffee. Bitch, you got some answering to do.
You're talking to her the whole time she's holding up her phone, like recording you.
It's like, yeah.
You want to talk about a successful spy would be that young lady.
What's your banking information? But
you're like, yeah, 1, 4.
But in any case,
Why
guys,
give you that voice?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure entirely. But yeah, guys, keep that shit aware. We all love playing games, some more than others. Read the fine print. It took 27 hours to download. Taking a few minutes extra is not going to kill us, and ultimately might save us from entering Red Dawn #3. So just keep it in mind.
Live dangerously and just send that information willingly.
Don't never listen to it.
It's best not to.
Never listen to it.
It's best not to. John, we had...
I was just swallowing. I was about to tell him, but go ahead, man. Go ahead. You started.
Sorry, I was going to say Ellis brought up our brand new sponsor. And that, of course, is Raid Legends of... Wait, no, it's not, because we're not like other podcasts who sell out for any random brand that's willing to pay. No! Today, we're once again brought to you by one of our absolute favorite bands, and that, of course, is Bad Mary. You heard them there in the intro. You're going to hear them again at the end of the show. If you're wondering where else you can catch their act, you can follow them over at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary Band. You can stay up to date at badmary.com for merch and upcoming performances, including their takeover of Japan coming soon. But my absolute favorite part is their entire discography is available on every single music streaming service.
Fucking A, and all the music rocks, as you would know if you were in Japan right now.
Or you listen to the opening song or the song at the end. You got a lot of Bad Mary in your life.
Yeah, and rightfully so. But also as well, you do have to ask yourself, where we dropping? And the answer is with Sergeant Finesse. You can find him currently gaming on Facebook as a partner, but he is rapidly making that move over to kick.com. Guys, check that shit out. Multiple streams every day, outstanding video game content, supported games, co-streams, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. Check him out today when the Sergeant's on deck. Oh, you salute. And again, also as well as, don't forget to check out Secret Stash, their show weekly here on Facebook.
Every Wednesday,
absolutely,
it's our lead-in.
Awesome. It's legitimately
6:37 they start.
It's certainly not our lead-in.
No, it's official.
I mean, they probably didn't sign up for that, but it just so happens that their show is right before ours.
You know, it's happy accidents.
Also, as well as, go ahead and check out Joker stream over on Twitch. He's a fucking awesome streamer. He is indeed going to be coming up. Joker, I'm going to hit you off today, tomorrow, so we are going to schedule.
Damn.
You do what you gotta do to get guests, bro.
Hot.
So yeah, we're figuring probably 2 weeks we're gonna have Joker's stream, right here on the USComics airwaves. But Charlie also, as well as
we got breaking news.
Just as soon as I think that I'm taking the forefront in like the Showtime category, Charlie gotta go ahead and have his own fucking project with none other than Christian. Charlie, tell him what's up.
Christian, co-host of Live from the Secret Stash, has a brand new project, and the teaser drops this Saturday at 2 o'clock over on his YouTube channel. Christian, do me a favor, drop your YouTube channel information in the comment. I'll put it up. And it is, of course, Mr. Downtown. But John,
Charlie,
I got some real good news about Mr. Downtown.
I don't know if I could take it.
I finally, from the ashes of all my hopes and dreams, I finally got booked in something, because let's take a look. Let's take a look at official poster A. I'll make it nice and big. Arcade Productions presents Mr. Downtown, but the B poster, because you know I'm about those alts, right?
Charlie's a B guy.
I'm sorry, whose name is above Mr. Downtown?
Oh, shit.
Oh, you guys get to hear all this tonology. I gotta tell you, man, Christian and I met in Live in Color at a Smod Castle event We wound up missing half the damn movie because we were just chit-chatting, having a good time.
Just a couple of
I
gals
was
on the town.
absolutely honored when he said if I wanted to take a look at the script. I was honored when he sent me the render job he did, and I'm always trying to get a job. So we were able to
Render job might be the sexiest fucking thing that's been said in this episode, and this has been a.
I'll go deep,
sexy,
bro.
Don't
go deep.
no.
Too much?
You said I'll go deep, and you ruined the sexiness. What is wrong with you?
Sorry, all
Jesus
of my
Christ.
exes.
Our mother is watching the show.
I cannot wait for you guys to see what Christians put together.
That's gonna be dope.
Mr. Downtown.
Mr. Downtown or Senor Downtown for all of our Spanish.
Are you into the Spanish dub? Is that where you slide in? Doing all the voices.
Christian, man, if I gotta come in and do a telenovela version, I'm available, son.
That's gonna be available on our YouTube channel. That's gonna be. But Saturday, 2 p.m. Mr. Downtown. We'll drop the link in the comment section, and we'll drop it in the bio wherever we can.
It's dope.
I am
sneak peek.
petrified. I am so nervous that
bitch.
people are going to be like, this sucks. Like, I trust Christian until he's like, you're good. I'm like, bullshit. I must be terrible. Who paid you off?
Yo, Joker, if Charlie got to do a couple of render jobs on the side just to make sure those bills are paid, he got to do what they got to do, you know. Chapstick is cheap.
Terrible.
And also, if you need a little liquid courage, you can go ahead and find it. Oh, sorry. No,
I like
that's
it.
That's a different spot.
How fucked up would it be if it turns out like you were getting directly paid from the people at products I love and brought into your life? That would be rude and ridiculous.
Oh, God.
But John.
Charlie.
Nothing stays dead in comic books.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
for those of you guys.
Certain comic book companies, not at USComics.
For those of you who don't know, we're not just a talk show. We have written a comic book. The whole point of this, so you guys know our sensibilities and then give us money for our pictures and words, because that's what we do. But John, here's the thing. First and first, mostly, the director, the writer, the producer of Mr. Downtown, and actor. He's also on that poster. He's also doing a voice. I'm not saying it goes well for him in the teaser, but, saying I killed it.
All I want to say, Christian, and if I may, because
please.
It's quite ugly to talk about your own early reviews. Christian coming through, the creator, the fucking brain behind the project. Christian saying that he killed it, y'all. This is the only proof of concept short. Wait to the big project, and we are indeed waiting with bated breath for that big project. But I will say this, Charlie has already gotten new business cards made up that says Charlie Rivera, Mr. Downtown. I'm like, Charlie, man, that's just appropriation in its worst fucking, maybe not the worst form, but not a good one. It's not a good one.
You know those bootleg Chinatown toys? There's going to be all sorts of Mr. Downton. That's how I'm going to pronounce it to get past the copyright.
Damn you 3D printers. Damn yous.
But John, going back to my initial thought before I once again complimented myself, the nothing stays dead in comic books.
Yes.
And not even motherfucking universes, because Marvel's Ultimate Universe is back after spending years dragging Miles Morales into a universe where none of his conventions really work perfectly. Now, I will just full spoiler alert, I think the best Miles Morales is from Into the Spider-Verse. I cannot wait for the Spider-Verse Revenge or whatever the fuck the next two movies are called. For me, I think when Marvel had its Ultimate Comics, I was so thrilled to have a fresh take that didn't feel the need to burn what came before it. It wasn't a reboot, it was a side universe. Right now, multiverses are all the rage. When Ultimates came out, this was, I thought, the best version of it. You got to see all new versions of characters you knew pretty well, and what it suffered from.
Thought you knew.
Yeah, exactly right. What it suffered from, in my opinion, was a lot of the characters were just better. Iron Man looked so much cooler in the Ultimate Universe. The Ultimates were like fucking hardcore, and Captain America was a total fucking badass. Daredevil was a great character re-envision. I didn't really love the Daredevil and Elektra books, but everything was very low stakes in as much as these weren't the quote-unquote real guys.
Yeah.
These were the ults. This was another universe, so you had more room to play. There was no fear. That fearlessness led us to a world that could allow, Miles to run. The Spider-Man comics walked so that Miles could swing on his own in other Elseworlds tales.
Yeah.
I felt like where some people like Ellis feels like Ultimates was G.I. Joe Extreme, and I totally get that. And at times it certainly did that. For me, things like Mr. Fantastic becoming, what is he called? The Tinkerer, I think. He gets a weird rebrand. I love
Marvelous loves doing this. So like, we're gonna be 17 more.
Yeah, when it came out at the time, man, I was a big fan.
Yeah.
Of specifically the Ultimates. I thought were a great revised version of the Avengers.
Would it be fair to say that kind of like you were in the same place, both emotionally, age-wise, and as a comic book fan as I was when the Image titles
100%.
first dropped? So yeah,
this was another at bat for that
of it,
atmosphere.
I think a lot of it had to do with like now. Finally, I have an opportunity to be in on the ground floor of some shit, So, all right, Joker, you're the man, bro. You're the man. So I think a lot of that has to do with it because that gives a person, a reader, a customer, ownership of a property, right? You might not have written it.
It felt
might
like
have
mine.
Created it. Like these are mine. Now I would counter that while certainly there are some variations of the characters, these are tried and true fucking characters. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out, Joker, for sure. We're gonna get you booked up like next 2 weeks. There were certain ones that were like for me, as a longer term. I got a good decade. Not a good decade, but a decade. I won't say which one it was. There were some with they mishandled the characters that I fucking loved. I'm like, what do you mean? The Ultimates version of Thor, like he's fucking like he's crazy. Like
You hate him.
I hate him. I hate him. And I lived in a world where Thor had a ponytail at one point. I'm like, no, fuck Ultimate Thor. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that when you love something, or even if you just like it, you're like, nope, this is fine. This is perfect just the way it is. Might not be the best fucking thing on the menu, but when I sit down, I know this motherfucker is going to be a good meal, so to speak.
Yeah.
When they do some tinkering to the point where like, no, that's not better. I think that ultimately, no pun intended, it really matters if the change.
Accidental puns are the best puns.
If the change ends up being an improvement, or at least being a lateral move. If it's lateral, fine. When I first saw Captain America decked out in relatively modern military tech, I'm like, oh shit, that is the jump right there. I love that shit. And it also, and probably the best compliment that a wannabe creator can give to any other creator, whatever level is, that shit got my juices flowing.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, what about this? Like, that's the best. That is the fucking best. If it comes to the point where another person who has creative juices flowing in their body says, hey, your work made me think of X, fill in the blank, that's better than any, oh, I loved it. That's better than any, oh, you're so talented. That's better than, oh, you're so handsome. You must have a big schwanz. Like the type of stuff that I'm used to hearing. That would indeed be...
That must be a Russian bot you're hanging out with.
Like once or twice. I mean, I gave him my data, so I figured you should get something back. But no, sincerely, like that is the highest form of compliment that I think any quasi or current creator can possibly fucking get. And I don't know if that did the same thing for you, or if even it just launched your imagination. Some of the storytelling.
My experience was a lot different because my big problem with Marvel at the time was utter indifference. Thor meant nothing to me. People had tried to hand me Thor books, and at the time I was such a DC loyalist that the mountain a character had to climb. Back before the Marvel Zombies comics, that's what we called Marvel fans. Like, you're a fucking Marvel zombie. You only like it because you were born with it.
Who's we?
Like my fucking circle of comic book friends.
Other punk,
like
judgmental,
just being like fucking Superboy's the shit. Look at that leather coat.
Fucking
yeah.
Oh, God.
First of all, don't use that voice with me. I always had a deep voice.
Yeah, listen,
deep manly voice, man.
You gave me fucking Bobby Bottle Service voice in your rendition of me, so you're gonna take whatever voice I give you.
You know what? Touche. But for me, what was great is
You mean touche?
touche, bro. Very cool. To me, having a crazy Thor was because I was able to be there on like day one of that character introduction in Ultimates. No, but I'm saying because in hindsight, it sucked. In hindsight, it wasn't good.
Sucked.
With that being said, I was able, much easier for me to invest. The thing about someone like Iron Man, again, at the time, he was not an A-lister. So this suddenly like bulkier, more logic, like it felt more real to me, a lot of the decisions made. And really it was just darker.
But that was their no. It certainly was darker for sure across the board. They probably like saved so much money from the anchors. And again, financially, Marvel was in deep fucking shit.
Yeah.
Back in those days, like they couldn't pay certain bills, which is actually the reason why Marvel characters became so fractured in the fucking first place. Sony getting some, and fucking Universal getting some, and some being kind of tucked away for a raining day. But it was also kind of tapped as like realistic.
Yeah.
Like, this is the realistic take of a fucking Viking thunder god. That's your realistic take. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah, hit me.
And this
not literally.
It's gonna happen. This is one of those kind of like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't situations, because even on a character like the Ultimate Thor, which I fucking hated.
Yeah, you did hate
it still got my creative juices flowing because I'm like, fuck, if you wanted to tell like a crazy, out of control Thor story that was outside of that normal fucking regular Marvel canon, then goddamn it, take it all the way back to the Viking roots, and they would have this like thing where certain Viking warriors going into battle, like let's take a dozen of these like super duper crazy motherfuckers and even somewhat expendable. Rocky, what, Rambo, Rambo, what mean expendable?
John, what mean expendable?
Take a couple of these people and let's get them high as a fucking kite, and then those Vikings were berserkers, and those are those that went straight in fucking first, like Saving Private Ryan style, first ones off the boat, just swinging double axes, taking 52 arrows to the chest and not stopping because they were high. How you doing? And you know, you could have taken that type of direction for Thor at that time, and then I would have been like, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm all the way
if they
in.
let you
at
write
the time,
it.
comics were only like $1, and I was like 18 years old, so
well, that was
not.
that was the other.
But even again, in their worst application, there were still positives that came out of it. So
you know what struck me about Ultimates at the time, and I felt like it was all the conversation in like Wizard World. Wizard World used to cast like comic book movies before they were the Wizard magazine. Yeah. I'm sorry. Wizard magazine.
Wizard World is where Harold Potter and his friends went.
Yes.
So they could just wave around wands.
The Wizarding World of fun. The ultimately my point. That time it was intentional. What was great about it was it felt like these would have been the films. If people were making, it felt like this would have been what they looked and sounded like.
Yeah.
Because again, you look at the Iron Man suit, you could imagine them making that.
If Marvel's movies were made in the 90s, absolutely 100%. Now, but it's funny that you say that. I'm sure it was not intentional. But they did co-opt a lot of the Ultimates variations to the current MCU.
And that's my question for you about this. What is the fucking point of Ultimates in 2023? What is the point of the Ultimate Universe instead of doing what was unquestionable, regardless of what you thought about Ultimates in Marvel? Not only the team, but the Ultimate imprint.
Sure.
No matter what you thought, its superpower was that it was different. Was that it was a new take. It was someone saying, okay, what's it now? Right. What's, not to speak for you, but to kind of speak for you, I know you agree with me when I say the thing I think Marvel does very poorly cinematically, everyone looks like they get their costumes made at the same place. They all have fucking...
They go to Edna's.
They all go to Edna's, but some have capes, I guess. They worked around it with some. They all have fucking nano...
Those capes were grandfathered in.
They all have nanotech bullshit. So if you told me that you were going to do another big imprint, yo, bring me the next Spider-Man. What does a 2023 Peter Parker look like?
This is my one and only request. No more Spider-Man. We have so many fucking derivative
Welcome to the team, baby.
Spider-Man. Nope.
Fuck Spider-Man!
I am saying this
John
out of-
Rivera.
out
That
of
is
love.
a quote!
Unlike Mary Jane, I love Spider-Man, and I know we can make it work, Peter. No.
What was that
I
voice?
don't-
We're not just skipping over your Mary Jane voice.
That was-
You had a back pocket Mary Jane
That's
impersonation?
not how you hear Mary Jane. When
It
you
is absolutely. How'd you know?
Check yourself, bro.
Fuck.
But in any case, no more Spider-Man. Stop it. Like, there are more derivative Spider-Man than I think at this point in history any other comic book character, maybe in any other fictional character, period.
But let's
add a bunch of characters up, and there's still more derivative Spider-Man.
But let's talk it out, bro. If Marvel came to you,
Yeah.
and I'll give my answer so you can mull it over for more than half a second. I mean, you can't use Thor again because you just laid it out.
I only need half.
If Marvel came and said, we want to do a new Ultimate style universe, we're going to do Ultimate 2, the birth of a new Ultimate universe, you have no rules to follow.
Yeah.
What are what is the pitch? What do you want to do differently? And we currently live in a world, right? Ultimate X-Men was colossally popular and fucking awesome. Right now we live in a world where there's still a bunch of shit the movies haven't done that we haven't seen. So starting a Marvel universe and once again having another at-bat for fucking the X-Men to, here would be my 10-cent pitch, relaunch the X-Men with today's All-Stars. So the first class of X-Men, instead of always doing the fucking throwback where it's Angel, Iceman, Colossus, do it where it's fucking Scott, Jean, you want a foundation. Scott, Jean, Wolverine will keep. But then...
Well, yeah, you don't want to break up.
But then, exactly. The fourth key member is Wade. Wade Wilson. Have Deadpool. Be Deadpool. Yeah, but right out the gate, you have like a non-mutant mutant.
But which version of those characters?
But it would be the new. It would be my new versions. It would be my new interpretation.
Oh, totally new.
Because it's like the Ultimate. I have no rules other than the name should stay the same. So like Cyclops should have a laser eyes and be an X-Man. Yeah. But again, my pitch. You have the happy couple, Jean, Logan, Scott. You have Deadpool. Give me Kitty Pryde. And give me another broad. Let's have an even fucking team for once. Give me Emma Frost.
But here's the thing, and this is my kind of like take on the whole Ultimates thing. Marvel already had hey, give me your elevator pitch for Daredevil.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, what if he was also as well as mute? And then they were like, okay, well, how's that gonna play out, or whatever the case might be. That's what if.
Yeah.
Right, so they have these...
It's just a consistent what if, I guess.
Well, they have an outlet for, like, these what if, fill in the blank, but the Ultimates was literally a universe. Mm-hmm. So you wholesale made changes to every fucking character under the roof, and then you're like, okay, kids, go play together, and everything is going to count, and we're keeping track of everything. So Marvel kind of, like, had that ability, and they took advantage of it to double down and say, well, yeah, we have our one-shot what ifs, and now we have a long form running what ifs.
Yeah, I think that's what I loved about it.
Well, but the multiverse fucking said, you know what? That's cool because you like Spider-Gwen? Guess what? Guess who's entering into the normal? We're gonna kill her entire reality just to fucking get her over here because she's so popular, which I think is kind of a trash action. It's a little bit of a hate fucking crime. But that all being said, you're talking
the worst
about
outcome.
A completely new Ultimates.
I'm saying this Ultimates has made it very, very fucking clear what they're keeping. Miles, they're keeping fucking Mr. Fantastic with his Ultimate identity. If you're going to do a new Marvel imprint, if you're going to even keep the name Ultimate, have it fucking be the new modern take. Because regardless of how they try to modernize the books week to week, the truth is they are always held down by tradition and what came before it. And they always do these like quasi reboots, so they've moved it forward.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think what?
Why do you think that they always hold to what's come before? Because the Ultimates made some huge fucking glaring changes.
Yeah, I think it's because that was the only time they felt safe to do it. I feel like you can't retcon Cap to be a Navy SEAL. He has to be what he was in the era he was. You can't reboot a Logan without him being 400 years old. Like, what if fucking Logan was born Tuesday? Like, give me Bone Logan for a while. Yeah. And what if he's not Amnesia? And what if he's not... Like, you can take... And what I loved about Ultimate is they did take, probably Thor, excluding Thor, for a lot of the characters, they kept all the main staples. They didn't throw out anything but the excess. They changed what they reasonably could without any previous baggage. So I know, again, credit where credit's done. You've drawn my favorite, aesthetically, my favorite Captain America. You drew him as a Marine. And that little change is a huge change.
Yeah, but you know what they're talking about are more than just aesthetic changes. Now, I think that as again their creative staff, where I think it really becomes kind of like juicy to them as a gig is knowing kind of where Marvel is with all this stuff and saying, hey, if you could make any fucking change in the world that you wanted to Professor X, or to fucking or to Doctor Doom, or like you fucking take your pick, and then you make these like wholesale over the top changes, like hey young gun, well done. Guess what? We're going to import those changes and apply it to the main fucking stream.
I hate that.
Cinematic versions, yeah.
Oh, the cinematic version I wouldn't mind.
But on their end, it makes perfect sense
Yeah.
because again, Spider-Gwen is a perfect example. It's a perfect fucking example.
By the way, that would be my pitch if when they eventually reboot the Marvel Cinematic Universe, do this fucking Spider-Gwen as your Spider-Man, your Spider-Woman.
Well, but
that'd be so fun.
But that's my greater point is like again, if there's anybody who's still unclear about it, make no mistake about it now. I despise derivative characters that are just like, oh, now there's 42 of us. I hate that more than foreign governments taking my data and just using it willy-nilly. I think it is such a trash, cheap fucking money grab, and it's completely creatively, morally bankrupt. I hate it. Literally, the only time that it's even remotely acceptable, that was a big shot, remotely acceptable, is if okay, here's the new Blue Beetle. Hey, remember old Blue Beetle? Fuck off, old Blue Beetle. And now you've got new versions.
Like a generational handoff.
Yeah, I don't care what the fuck it is. They don't even have to know each other. It can be a mantle. It can be
So you prefer when it's like Blue Beetle 2.
Not even if I get a new Blue Beetle that I have to learn all about, I don't ever want to think about, hear about, or fucking remember the old version. That's how shit is, man. Like that's the way you get over heartbreak. Is you just fucking go all the way into whatever is new on the table.
Do you know what I think is so fun about the concept of like an Ultimate, like you said, a what if universe we get to follow for years, not issues? My favorite part is
potentially.
Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't sell well, it'll be gone. What I love is like if I was able to do a Ultimate style sub universe of DC. So the DC books still roll out. I'm just one of those 52 books every week. I would love.
Stop saying 52.
Sorry.
I'm about to have fucking flashbacks.
I'm very sorry. I did not mean to offend. But to have a universe where, like, again, Batman adopts Dick but doesn't make him a sidekick, and Batman dies. So Alfred is like the guy like turning little Dick into Batman. So like there is no Robin, there is no Nightwing. There's just like a 3-year gap where Gotham falls to further shit.
Self-hating, fucking service giver. Why wouldn't he turn Dick into like a butler?
That's what his day job is.
Bro.
That's what his day. After all these years, Alfred is like part of your training is cleaning this big ass mansion.
Alfred, do I really have to iron these underwears? Yes.
Remember the underwear technique. It's like Karate Kid. But for me, it's like the opportunity you have by doing a new Ultimate Universe, but being stuck in the cage that was the old Ultimate Universe. You're doing a huge disservice to the whole fucking part. I hate it.
But I
don't like it.
I don't think that's what they're doing, though.
What do you mean?
A new Ultimates or reviving the Ultimates universe just means that you're picking up storytelling where it left off.
The whole planet
which is
exploded.
Well, then what? And then what happened? Fucking because I'm surprised Krypton hasn't fucking shown back up at this point.
Remember when Sci-Fi had the show and it was like good? You remember Krypton? Krypton was the best Superman series. It was good.
In a world that Smallville is a thing, yes.
Stop trying to hurt me.
It's very easy.
My birthday month just ended. Now we're in my birthday quarter.
Oh, no.
John, final thoughts on the Marvel Ultimates. Happy, sad, indifferent.
I'm between happy and indifferent because there were plenty of bits and pieces that I really enjoyed about the Ultimates universe that they created. However, they largely took those bits and pieces like, thank you very much, and they fucking co-opted them for use elsewhere. So it almost became like, well, no, that's the thing, you know? So I'm willing to see what they come up with. I'm certainly not sad about it.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm bummed. It just bums me out because I feel like it's just leading to another like big multiverse fight.
You think it's gonna be
I smell collusion
of the kingdom situation? You're like,
fuck
no,
yeah!
Don't keep. Stop it! Stop! Leave this story alone.
I feel like it's beyond diminishing returns, but
certainly wouldn't be the first time.
And
won't be the last.
See, why you gotta hurt me?
Truth.
Talking about diminishing returns, I feel like if we kept on this show, we'd probably have 3 more hours of gold, and on that 4th hour, we would really fall apart. So, John,
Charlie,
there is only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics Cast.
That's true.
I need you to be the physical. I need you to show the people that are watching on Twitch, YouTube, and on Facebook Live right now. I need you to show them the words I'm going to say, because first step, you got to turn the power on. Then you got to turn the volume up. Then you got to tune Baron Marion. Open up the window wide and scream out into the night sky.